Hello and welcome to another Finder Insights video on YouTube. Now, it's been a while since we have done one of these videos, mostly due to the Finder offices globally closing down as a result of COVID-19. We're starting to open up slowly. This particular floor on this building in Sydney is not being used yet, though other floors are, but it's giving us an opportunity to start doing economics insights videos again. Now, towards the end of last year, we did 2 videos on YouTube with the arguments for why we were and weren't going to see a recession in Australia in 2020. The views from those show that there's far more appetite for a recession than there was for us not having a recession. And in the end, of course, we did, but not for any of the reasons listed in those videos. Nobody saw COVID-19 coming. In this video, we're going to be discussing 4 positive signs for the Australian economy and the housing market in 2020. But if you're in a gloomy mood and you want to be depressed, check out our negatives video as well. The first positive is that house prices seem to be holding their own across Australia, despite grim predictions of drops of up to 15% from some of the big 4 banks. It looks like the market is holding its own. Generally, we've seen month-on-month prices recently positive in every single capital except for Melbourne, though the positives are small, and we've seen the year-on-year growth positive in every single capital across Australia. However, it must be said that this is recovering from a big drop. If you look at the full index from CoreLogic for the last 12 months, you can see the prices increased significantly towards the beginning of the year and have dropped since then and recovered, but not recovered the whole way. So we still have a long way to go. Positive number 2 is that borrowing for housing is at record highs. We saw $16 billion borrowed across Australia for new and existing housing in October 2020. And this is a record high. It's up 36% against the same month last year. Now, it must be noted, as we said earlier, that there was a dip towards the end of last year, so that's an increase on a decreased figure. But even when you look at a 5-year scale, as per this chart, the borrowing right now is off the charts. So what's behind this increase in borrowing across Australia? Well, there's 3 major factors, really. First of all, credit is cheaper than ever because of low interest rates. Second of all, house prices are lower than ever. And third of all, government subsidies are available that were not there before, which makes the bottom rung of the housing ladder lower than it has been previously. But also, I think there's a bit of fear of missing out happening here, with a lot of potential first-home buyers missing out towards the end of last year when prices dropped. Prices then rose again and they missed out, and they're now keen to get in the door before it slams shut and prices rise again. And it looks like if these figures continue the trends we're seeing now, that might indeed happen. Positive number 3 is that there's early signs that we may already be recovering from recession in Australia. In fact, the Governor of the Reserve Bank, Guy Debelle, said recently that at the moment, our best guess is it looks like the economy probably recorded positive growth rather than negative growth. So it looks good for the Australian economy. However, there are caveats that we must mention here, because Guy Debelle also said we're having a lot of trouble trying to understand where we are, let alone where we are going. So what this means is that the Australian economy has probably resisted COVID-19 better than people presumed. Melbourne and the state of Victoria has not been as much of a drag on the economy as it could potentially have been, and other sectors of the economy have boosted more than people thought they would. So these signs are positive. We won't know these actual numbers until towards the end of the year, but in the meantime, watch this space. Finally, positive number 4 is that Australia is finally opening up again after a long 110 days of grim, dreary lockdown. In Victoria, that state is emerging from the ashes victorious. It looks like having almost completely eliminated COVID-19. People are hitting the streets again. That's going to be good for businesses there. We could be looking at domestic borders opening fully by Christmas, and then a trans-Tasman bubble with New Zealand opening early next year, potentially followed by further Asian travel bubbles. So things could be looking positive as we open up further. So looking at those 4 positive signs, things look pretty rosy for the Australian economy and the housing market. But hold on, that's only one side of the story, and indeed every story has 2 sides. Not all the signs are positive. To see 4 negative signs for the same things, check out our companion video in the link below.